Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, May 17, 2022. Today, I'm going to look ahead to today's Stanley Cup and NBA playoff games. We'll go over yesterday's Major League Baseball games, look ahead to today's games, and we'll also look at the Wnba Sleet. I'll do my predictions on how the 2022 NBA Draft Lottery will play out. There's going to be some primaries going on today, news and notes, and my best bet of the day. All right, NHL will start the show today. We have 2 game ones to discuss. The first one is 7 o'clock on TNT. You have the Lightning and the Panthers. I did series picks yesterday on the show, and I took the Lightning in 6 as my pick. But for this game, the Panthers are minus 156, Tampa's plus 130, over under 7, overs minus 106, unders minus 114, Lightning plus 1/2 is minus 184, Florida minus 1/2 is plus 152. Florida has the extra day of rest, so I actually do think that the Panthers will win game 1. So I'm going to go with the Panthers in regulation at even money. And at 9:30 on TNT, you have the Blues and the Avalanche. The Avs are minus 15. The Blues are plus 176. Over under 7. Overs plus 110. Unders minus 134. Blues plus 1/2 is minus 132. Avs minus 1/2 is plus 110. I took the Blues to win the series because I don't feel great about the health situation with Darcy Kemper and his vision. So I think the Blues are going to go out there and win game 1. I like them at plus 176 to win tonight in Colorado. And I took the Blues in 7 as the pick in that series. So Lightning in 6 is plus 520. And then the Blues in 7 is plus 880. Which is wild. And then the Blues are plus 310 in the series as well. All right, NBA, we'll recap the games. Or I'm sorry, we don't have any games to recap. We have a game tonight. It's Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 between the Celtics and the Heat. 8:30 on ESPN. Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy on the call with Lisa Salters. My projections for this game: Heat by 3. Total of 214 and 19/20. And FanDuel has this at 1/2 and 204. I really love the over. Overs have been the calling card in the postseason. If I had to pick a winner of the game, I'm going Miami because the Celtics don't have the rest advantage like Miami does. I have the Celtics winning the series in 7 games, but I'm going with the Heat to win game 1. And I'll probably jump into the Celtics to win the series if the Heat win game 1, which I think is very likely. And series correct score of Boston 4-3. Is 5-1. The favorite outcome of the series is Boston 4-2, but I like Boston 4-3 at 5-1. All right, now I'm going to recap the games in Major League Baseball from yesterday, and we will look ahead to today's games. Tigers over the Rays 3-2, Marlins over the Nationals 8-2, Blue Jays over the Mariners 6-2, Red Sox over the Astros 6-3, Yankees over the Orioles 6-2. Brewers over the Braves 1-0. Cubs over the Pirates 9-0. Rangers over the Angels 7-4. White Sox over the Royals 5-3 and 10. Giants over the Rockies 7-6. Twins over the A's 3-1. Dodgers over the D-backs 5-4. And Cardinals Mets postponed rain makeup date today. So we have a couple doubleheaders today. So at 2 o'clock today, I have the White Sox and the Royals doubleheader game 1. Dylan Cease and Jonathan Heasley is your pitching matchup. White Sox minus 174, Royals plus 146, over under 8, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. White Sox minus 1/2 is minus 108, Royals plus 1/2 is minus 111. White Sox need to bounce back after that Yankee series. But if I had to pick here as like a side or whatever, this is a tough one, but I'm going to go with... I don't like the pick, but I'm going to lay the 1/2 with the White Sox on the run line. 3 o'clock, you have the Dodgers hosting the D-backs in Game 1. Tyler Gilbert's going for Zona. We don't know who's going for LA. And I don't think DraftKings has the odds of that game either. They don't. And they don't have the odds for Cardinals-Mets Game 1 either. That pitching matchup is not out yet either. 6 o'clock, you have the Reds and the Guardians. Interleague, Connor Overton and Zach Plesac. The Guardians are minus 166. The Reds are plus 140. Over under 8. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Reds plus 1/2 is minus 156. Guardians minus 1/2 is plus 130. I like the Reds again. They're playing a lot better since the slow start. ESPN FBI gives them 44.8% chance to win at plus 140. I think that's pretty good. So give me the Reds. 6:30 Tigers Rays. Bayo Brisky and Shane McClanahan. Rays minus 295, Tigers plus 240, over under 7, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Detroit plus 1/2 is plus 102, Rays minus 1/2 is minus 122. Tough one. Took the over in this game in best bet last night. For this one, I'm going to go... So the first half run line is Rays minus 1/2 at plus 106, which is very interesting. And minus 1/2, minus 122 is the full game. So that is very interesting if you ask me. But I'm going to go under 3.5. First half total runs at minus 102. Nats Marlins. Jonah Don and Cody Poteet. Marlins minus 166, Nats plus 140, over under 8.5. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Nats plus 1/2 is minus 150. Marlins minus 1/2 is plus 125. The numbers suggest the Nats again, but I've lost on them way too many times this year. So I'm going to make it easy. First half result, Miami minus 115. 6:45 Padres Phillies. We have Mike Clevenger Munoz going for Philly. FanDuel doesn't have this game posted yet. And neither does DraftKings. But if San Diego's favored, it might be a good spot to bet Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is an ESPN Analytics favorite. Next up at 7 o'clock, you have the Yankees and the Orioles. Jameson Taillon and Spencer Watkins. Yanks minus 220, Orioles plus 184, over under 8.5. Overs minus 108, unders minus 112. Yanks minus 1/2 is minus 126. O's plus 1/2 is plus 105. Spencer Watkins, the wheels came off his last start. He was pitching well up until that Cardinals game. The Yankee offense has been pulling away late in a lot of these games lately. Part of me wants to take the over in the case being the Yankees do it by themselves. But instead, I'm going to do first half total runs over 4.5 for the Yankees and the O's. Mariners, Blue Jays, Logan Gilbert and Jose Barrios. Blue Jays minus 152. Mariners plus 128. Over-unders 8. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Mariners plus 1.5 is minus 156. Toronto minus 1.5 is plus 130. Logan Gilbert's been excellent this year. They're plus 128. Give me the Mariners. White Sox Royals double game 2. We don't know who's going for Chicago. Brady Singer is going for KC. I think the White Sox will end up favored, so I think KC might be a good play here. TBS, you have the Astros and the Red Sox. Jose Urquidy and Nathan Eovaldi. The Red Sox are minus 126. Astros plus 108. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Astros plus 1.5 is minus 215. Red Sox minus 1.5 is plus 126. ESPN Analytics has more faith in the Red Sox than I thought, as does Vegas. I want to take the Astros here, but it might be too good to be true. So instead, I'm going to go with the draw tie at 5-1 first half result. Cardinals-Mets game 2. Steven Matz and Taijuan Walker. Mets minus 130, Cardinals plus 110, over under 8, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Cards plus 1.5 is minus 196, Mets minus 1.5 is plus 162. Tough one. The Mets seem to be a bigger favorite in ESPN Analytics than in Vegas. It's Steven Matz's return to the Citi Field. I like the over, actually. I could see the Mets teeing off of Steven Matz, especially after what happened in St. Louis. I like the over. Mets and the over is a fun same game. Braves Brewers. Tucker Davidson and Adrian Hauser. Brewers minus 120, Braves plus 102, over under 8, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 180, Brewers plus 1.5 is minus 220. I like the over. Pirates Cubs from Wrigley. JT Brubaker and Keegan Thompson. Cubs minus 142, Pirates plus 120, over under 7, overs minus 128, unders plus 102. Pirates plus 1.5 is minus 182, Cubs minus 1.5 is plus 150. For this game, I'm going to go with the first half run line for the Cubs, minus 0.5 at plus 106. 8 o'clock, Angels Rangers. Reed Detmers coming off the no-hitter against Taylor Hearn. Angels minus 130, Rangers plus 110, over under 8.5, overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Angels minus 1.5 is plus 126, Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 152. I'm going with the Rangers. This is their classic letdown after the no-hitter, so give me the Rangers at plus 110 to knock off the Angels. 8:30, Giants Rockies. Alex Cobb and Chad Cole. Giants minus 164, Rockies plus 138, over under 8.5 or 11.5. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Giants minus 1.5 is minus 108. Rockies plus 1.5 is minus 111. Chad Cole's been really good for the Rocks. I really like the Rockies run line plus 1.5 at minus 111. 9:30, Twins A's. Dylan Bundy and James Caprillion. Twins minus 130, A's plus 110, over under 7, overs minus 122, unders even money. Twins minus 1.5 is plus 142, A's plus 1.5 is minus 176. The A's are big favorites according to ESPN Analytics, but the Twins are favored in Vegas. Give me Oakland plus 110 to knock off the Twins. And doubleheader game 2, D-backs Dodgers, Merrill Kelly, Tyler Anderson. FanDuel doesn't have it. Neither does DraftKings. But D-backs run line might be a consideration if it's at the right price. All right, now I'm going to look at tonight's WNBA slate. It's only a handful of games, like it usually is each and every night. I really need to have Jeff Maglicetti on the show to do WNBA. Actually, it's a handful of games tonight. It's a good amount. It's 5. 7 o'clock, you have the Sun and the Liberty. Liberty are 1-3. The Sun are 1-1. Connecticut's a 6.5-point favorite. Total's 158.5. I'm taking the Liberty getting 6.5 at plus 102. You have the Dream and the Fever at 7. It's a pick 'em over under 158.5. I'm going to lay the money line with the Indiana Fever to get back to 500. 8 o'clock, CBS Sports Network. You have the Mystics and the Wings. The Mystics are favored by 1.5. Total 162.5. Tough one. Kind of like the under. 10 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Commissioner's Cup between the Mercury and the Aces. That's going to be a really good game. Aces are favored by 7.5. Total 171.5. I'm taking the Mercury getting the 7.5. Although I do expect the Aces to win. I just think that number's high. And 10:30 Commissioner's Cup game between the Lynx and the Sparks. The Lynx are, by the way, 0-4. The Sparks are favored by 8.5. Total 160.5. I'm going to go under with that game as well. All right, tonight is the NBA Draft Lottery. It should be very interesting, to say the least. I'm going to go over the odds of each team, and I'm going to do my picks on how the slots will play out. So it's on at 8 o'clock on ESPN. So the Rockets, the Magic, and the Pistons each have a 14% chance at landing the number 1 pick. The Thunder, 12.5% with their own pick. The Pacers, 10.5%. Portland, 9%. Sacramento, 7.5%. New Orleans from the Lakers, 6%. Spurs, 4.5%. Wizards, 3%. Knicks, 2%. Thunder from the Clippers, 1.5%. Charlotte, 1%. Cleveland, 0.5%. So a couple teams that made the play-in tournament are obviously in the lottery, Cleveland and Charlotte. The Clippers obviously don't have their pick because the Thunder have it, and then the Spurs, who are in the play-in tournament, are in the lottery. And the Pelicans, who made the playoffs, are in the lottery because the Lakers were so bad that the Pelicans land the lottery pick in the Anthony Davis trade. So that is pretty wild. And then odds to land in the top 4. Rockets, 52.1%. Magic, 52.1%. Detroit, 52.1%. Thunder, 48.1%. Pacers, 42.1%. Portland, 37.2%. Sacramento, 32%. New Orleans, 26.3%. Oh my God, that'd be a disaster for the Lakers if they landed in the top 4. Spurs, 20.3%. Washington, 13.9%. Knicks, 9.4%. Charlotte, 4.8%. And Cleveland, 2.4%. All right. So, there's usually a team that jumps every year into the top 4. it's usually what I believe is good karma. For a team that didn't tank, didn't quit, and sneaks into the playoffs or comes darn close. I think there's two nominees for that. It's the Pelicans and it's the Spurs. Obviously the Pelicans have that Lakers pick, and I think the Spurs have a shot too. There's the big three with the big man, with Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith, and Chet Holmgren. It's a no-brainer that those three players will be the top three picks in the draft. And you have your choice of any of the three. That's why I think it's important if you're like one of these really, really bad teams, like the Rockets, the Magic, and the Pistons, that they land in the top three. I do think that one of those three teams will drop. I think the team that will win this draft lottery, I believe it will be the Orlando Magic. Just a gut feeling that I have. The number 2 pick, I'm going to say, will be the Detroit Pistons. Number 3, I'll say the Houston Rockets. And number 4, this is where I think the curveball will be. The New Orleans Pelicans, that Lakers pick, ends up 4th. Because the Pelicans really tried their butts off to make the postseason, and they did. So the basketball gods will bump the Pelicans from 8 to 4. 5 will be the Thunder, 6 will be the Pacers, 7 Portland, 8 Sacramento, 9 Spurs, 10 Wiz, 11 Knicks, 12 Thunder, 13 Charlotte, 14 Cleveland. Now we do a what-if scenario of every team ending up in the top 3. Houston, Orlando, Detroit need to keep the picks. Obviously, I think those will end up being your top 3. And actually, I said that one of them was going to drop to 4th, didn't I? So I would say the Pelicans ends up 3 and the Rockets drop to 4. I did say that at the top, so just to be a little bit juicy. So Christian Wood's got to be on the trade block if the Rockets land a top 3 pick. And Orlando, will they float out Mo Bamba? Detroit, Jeremy Grant obviously is the guy that's going to be floated around. The Thunder, they have a good young collection of assets. Maybe Poku, potentially. We know Miles Turner's going to be traded. It's just a matter of what team. If Portland lands in the top 3, could Jusuf Nurkic be on the move? If Sacramento lands in the top 3, I don't think they'll move Sabonis. Maybe the guy they move is like Rashawn Holmes or something like that. The Pelicans is where it gets juicy. If they land in the top 3, I think they trade the pick to try to get some help for them to win now with Zion. I think the Spurs might trade the pick too because they have a ton of cap room. And I think that they're going to try to win. The Wizards, this is a wild card. If they end up in the top 3, a winner in that scenario would be Bradley Beal. And now they would, in theory, would trade that pick or keep the pick to pair him up in the front court with Kristaps Porzingis. The New York Knicks, This is interesting. Mitchell Robinson's a free agent. Maybe sign and trade Mitchell Robinson if they want one of the top three, or do you trade the pick, keep Mitchell Robinson, and try to get that star to go with R.J. Barrett and or Julius Randle? We'll see. But I think that Barrett's the keeper and Randle is the fall guy potentially there. We talked about the Thunder already. Charlotte, that would take a miracle to jump. They, in theory, would have to potentially keep the pick because they have a major hole at center. Or do they say, screw it, we'll trade it for a big guy? And then Cleveland, obviously, great year last year. Do they trade Jared Allen or Kevin Love and keep the pick? Or would they trade the pick and get some help on the wing where they badly need help? And there's a lot of trade down possibilities with some of these teams too. So we'll see how the lottery plays out. And like I said, I think from 14-1, I think it's going to be Cleveland, Charlotte, Oklahoma City from the Clippers, Knicks, Wiz, Spurs, Kings, Blazers, Pacers, Thunder, Rockets, Pelicans, Pistons, Magic. That's my predicted order from the bottom to the top of the lottery. All right, now we will talk about the primaries that are going on today. There's a couple gubernatorials, and there is some Senate stuff as well. So it should be an interesting day today, obviously. I think the most intriguing one from a standpoint of the podcast is Pennsylvania, because it is one state over. So right now, the governor's Tom Wolf, but he is term limited and cannot seek re-election for a third term. So he's done after this year. So they're looking for a new governor. So on the Democrat side, you have Josh Shapiro. He's an attorney general, former member of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners, and former state rep for HD. So it looks like that Shapiro is going to win this, as there's a couple people that declined. Brendan Boyle, who was a rep for Pennsylvania's 2nd Congressional District and a former U.S. rep for PA's 13th Congressional District. And he's running for re-election for the 2nd Congressional District. John Fetterman, Lieutenant Governor of PA and candidate for U.S. Senate in 2016. He's running for the Senate this year. Jim Kinney, who's the mayor of Philly. Sarah Inmorado, state rep for the 21st Legislative District. And Joe Tercel, the former Pennsylvania state treasurer. So those are the ones that declined. So it looks like that Josh Shapiro is going to win that. And then on the other side, the Republican side, you have Lou Barletta, who was a U.S. rep for from PA 11 from 2011 to 2019. Joe Gale, a member of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners, and he was a candidate for lieutenant governor of PA 4 years ago. Charlie Giroux, vice chair of the American Conservative Union. Doug Mastriano, state senator from State District 33. William McSwain, U.S. attorney from the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Dave White, member of the Delaware County Council from 2012 to 2017. Anike Zama, who's a cardiothoracic surgeon. So there's a ton of people that withdrew and declined. But if I had to make a guess for this is a tough one. I kind of think this is wide open. But I'm going to go with Lou Barletta. I don't feel good about it. He was a U.S. rep from PA 11. Ran for Senate 4 years ago, so I'm going to say Lou Barletta, but I do not feel good about it because I think Joe Gale could potentially steal this from Pennsylvania. North Carolina gubernatorial. That's another. Actually, no. North Carolina Senate, so we'll get to that. So Oregon is among those in gubernatorial primaries today. Their incumbent is Kate Brown. So she cannot seek re-election this year due to term limits. So on the Democrat side, you have a ton of nominees. You have David Beam, former member of the Oregon Disabilities Commission, Julian Bell, critical care and pulmonary medicine specialist and candidate for governor in 2016, Wilson Bright, who's a retired textile company operator, George Carrillo, program manager at the Oregon Health Authority and Marine Corps veteran, Michael Cross, software designer, commercial driver, and Republican nominee for Oregon Attorney General in 2020. So he switched parties recently. That's interesting. Peter Hall, Haines City Councilor and member of the Board of Directors of the League of Oregon Cities. I'm going to wing this name right now. Ifanichuwu Daru, farmer and candidate for governor in 2014. Tina Kotek, former Speaker of the Oregon House of Representatives. Keisha Burchant, artist and creative designer. Tobias Reed, Oregon State Treasurer. Patrick Starnes, former Independent Party of Oregon candidate for governor in 2018. David Stauffer, environmental inventor and perennial candidate. John Sweeney, owner of Cannery Castle Gallery. Michael Trimble, cyclist and disability advocate. And Genevieve Wilson, independent contractor. This is a tough one. I think this is kind of open. I'm going to go with Tobias Reed. He's a state treasurer, but I don't feel good about it. I think Tina Kotek is the other candidate for this, so I'm going to go with Tobias Reed, but I don't feel good about it. And on the Republican side, very wide open here too. Raymond Baldwin, a general contractor. Bridget Barton, political consultant for the Third Century Solutions. Court Boyce, Curry County Commissioner. David Birch, Oregon Secretary of State. Christine Drazon, former minority leader of the Oregon House of Representatives and state representative from the 39th District. Jessica Gomez, member of the Business Organization Commission and Oregon Institute of Technology Board of Trustees. Nick Hess, CEO and entrepreneur. Tim McLeod, business development analyst. Kerry McQuiston, mayor of Baker City. Brandon Merritt, business development manager. Bud Pierce, oncologist and nominee for governor in 2016. John Presco, president of Royal Rosamond Press. Stan Pullum, mayor of Sandy. Amber Richardson, a chiropractor. Bill Seesmer, general contractor, tax reduction advocate, candidate for governor in 2010 and nominee in 1998. Stefan Galen Streck, Sturgoy, painter and graphic design artist. Mark Thielman, former Aliso School District superintendent. And Bob Tiernan, former state representative from the 24th District and former chair of the Oregon Republican Party. So I think there's some good nominees here on this side of the spectrum. But I like Bob Tiernan. I think he has a good resume from being in the 24th District, and he was the chair of the Republican Party. So I like Bob Tiernan. I think that is a recognizable name for the state of Oregon. We also have Idaho gubernatorial to talk about. So Brad Little is incumbent, and he is seeking nomination for a second term. So his opponents for tonight: Steve Bradshaw, Bonner County Commissioner, Ben candidate for governor in 2018; Walter French, Idaho Secretary of State; Ed Humphreys, financial advisor and Region 4 chair of the Idaho Republican Party; Ashley Jackson, actress, marijuana legalization activist; Lisa Marie, entrepreneur; and Janice McGeechan, lieutenant governor of Idaho; and Cody Usabel. Brad Little's gonna get reelected as the Republican nominee. I'd be surprised if he's not. And then on the other side, in the Democrat Party, you have Stephen Haidt, a college instructor, and write-in candidate Shelby Rogstad, who's the mayor of Sandpoint, and she failed to change party registration and running as a write-in candidate instead. And David J. Riley, who's a media personality and an alternate right activist. So this is a tough one. I actually think that Shelby Rogstad's going to win this. Being a mayor of Sandpoint, I think, is a big deal, and being in a big city like Sandpoint. So I think Rogstad will be the opponent for Brad Little. All right, some Senate stuff to talk about. Pennsylvania Republican Senate primary. This is an interesting one to follow with Pennsylvania. With Pennsylvania, polls close at 8 o'clock Eastern. And so that is something to keep an eye on. You also have North Carolina. Oh, obviously, Democratic state primary for Pennsy too. North Carolina Senate, something to keep an eye out for. Idaho, we talked about their gubernatorial. So, a lot of stuff taking place tonight with the gubernatorials. And I think the more interesting one is New York, which we're going to get to down the road in terms of gubernatorials. But Pennsylvania, obviously, is very interesting as well. All right, now I'll move on to news and notes for today. Not that much stuff to talk about. The Chicago Bulls have had concerns with Lonzo Ball's knee that had him sidelined since January. So they have significant concerns about that. Russell Westbrook likely to stay with the Lakers, as the idea of Westbrook remaining with them is seeming more real all the time amid trade buzz. Jake Odorizzi was helped off the field last night after a non-contact injury against the Red Sox. Brian Snickers says Braves star Ronald Acuna will likely play today after passing tests, coming off the groin problem. Damian Lillard rips Pat Beverly on Twitter as Dame comes to Chris Paul's defense after Patrick Beverly rips Chris Paul. Rajon Rondo allegedly threatened mother of their 2 children. No arrests made, and judge grants her protective order. Yikes. All right, so we have a new worst first pitch. Steve Aoki skies a first pitch at Fenway Park. It was so bad. Yankees starter Nestor Cortez deactivates his Twitter account after tweets surfaced that included racial slurs from over 10 years ago. I feel bad for Nestor that he's getting all this hate. Like, that was 10 years ago. He was a high school kid at the time, probably. And now he's grown up, he's mature, and he's pitching wonderfully for the Yankees this year. But I'm sure this will blow over. Michael Conforto could sign, then the Mets will no longer be owed a draft pick compensation, as Conforto could sign after the draft. Max Christie to stay in the draft, as he will hire an agent and participate in the combine. We talked about Kyle Lowry being out tonight against the Celtics. A big contract extension in Green Bay. Jair Alexander, 4 years, $84 million extension. Good for Jair Alexander. Braden Point can miss the game tonight against the Panthers after suffering the injury in Game 7. But I think they'll be fine in the series. I did pick the Panthers to win the game today, but I don't think they'll win the series. It's like the Miami Heat. I think they'll win tonight, but I don't think they'll win the series. Islanders name their new coach, Lane Lambert, who was an assistant under Barry Trotz, is now getting promoted to the head coaching role. I think the Islanders probably should have went after a bigger name, but what do I know? Sometimes these low-key hires tend to work out. Patrice Bergeron says he can't see himself playing anywhere else. And the last thing I want to hit on the news and notes is the biggest news of the day yesterday. The Vegas Golden Knights had fired head coach Peter DeBoer after missing the postseason by 3 points. I am somewhat surprised. My buddy George Brew, when I had him on, convinced me that he thought that Pete was going to stay. But I personally think that Vegas was going to try to make a run at Barry Trotz. That's my take. I had a feeling somebody was going to fire their coach to hire Barry Trotz. We see this along sports all the time. They fire the coach to hire somebody else. So, we'll see who they potentially hire. And it's coming from Woj right now. Fresno State 7-footer Orlando Robinson will stay in the draft and hire an agent. So that is a big loss for Fresno State. And some non-sports news. There was a bad tornado storm that hit the Maryland, D.C. area. And that's really sad. Hopefully everybody's doing okay down there. And news coming down this morning or yesterday. Lorne Michaels tapped to play Pete Davidson's mom in his new TV show. So that's pretty cool. The former soprano star getting some love here. And that's really it among the news and notes for today. Last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. This is a tough one for me today. I do want to take the over in the Heat Celtics game, but I don't know if I have the balls to pick it. Last night's best bet between the Tigers and the Rays was a loser. I'm going to lay a half unit. Now they have some lines out for some of the later games. But the one of them that I considered is on here. The D-backs and the Dodgers. But I don't know if I have the guts to take the D-backs run line against the Dodgers. But I'm going to go with one that I liked at the top of the show. It's a first half run line, and it's the Chicago Cubs first half run line. Minus a half at plus 106, so I'm going to lay a half a unit on it. Cubs minus a half. First half against the Pirates is my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from today, looking at everything tomorrow, including gubernatorial and draft lottery for the NBA. We also have the Masked Singer finale tomorrow, so we'll preview and pick that. So that should be a lot of fun. And Survivor as well. And obviously we have news and notes and best bet to take care of as well. So, hope you guys have a great day, everyone.